Thank you, Mr. Chair. Told that the DHS approach bill was a major discussion point in caucus this morning. Did you come away with a sense that the caucus reached a consensus on where members will be on the bill, or is it leadership's position that members will vote their conscience, vote their district?
Members are always, their responsibility is to always vote your district. But what we heard from caucus was a presentation from Rosa DeLauro, ranking member of the full committee of appropriations, as well as ranking member Henry Cuellar, the subcommittee ranking member. I can appreciate some of the work that went into the bill, some of the additional pieces that they were able to place in bill language. I also understand that with a continuing resolution, ICE would likely have more flexibility. But what we heard overwhelmingly was our members, and in the last 24 hours, we've heard our members speak loudly that ICE isn't doing enough. These reforms aren't enough. Their lawlessness has to stop, and they are only doing this because they can. They're only doing this because the President of the United States wants to use them to terrorize communities, to terrorize U.S. citizens, as the Vice Chair heard directly last week in Minneapolis, St. Paul, to scare people. There are kids throughout this nation who are not going to school because they're afraid. They're afraid that they're going to get picked up. They're afraid that their family member who is taking them to school will be picked up. That's just wrong. There aren't enough guardrails within this bill. I can still appreciate the work that went into the bill, while mentioning that common sense reforms that Democrats put up as amendments and alternatives were roundly rejected. They should not be allowed to detain U.S. citizens, and they are. They should not be able to fire at moving vehicles unless their life is in danger, and they are. That's wrong. The caucus has concerns about it, and I don't think we're going to have true accountability until Democrats are in charge. Our Republican colleagues don't seem willing or able right now to offer the level of oversight and critique of that agency that also, by the way, funds things that we support. TSA, FEMA, those are important. That's important work that the federal government does. It's unfortunate that the behavior of ICE is jeopardizing the Homeland Security bill.
I know you were just speaking on behalf of the caucus, but have you figured out your position on the bill yet?
I shared with the caucus this morning, and the leadership team has shared with the caucus that that we'll be voting no unless there are any substantive changes or amendments in the Rules Committee.
Thank you.
To answer your question, ICE is out of control. And how do we know that? We now have the extraordinary actions of local law enforcement holding press conferences and issuing statements and doing interviews criticizing ICE. So let me read you what Hennepin County Sheriff DeWanna Witt said. Quote, "I am seeing and hearing about people in Hennepin County stopped, questioned, and harassed solely because of the color of their skin," Witt said. "We cannot let people in our communities think that our local law enforcement leadership is okay with actions that are not only wrong, but illegal." Brooklyn Park Police Chief Mark Bruley, in a press conference, said, "In an attempt to record the incident, the phone was knocked out of her hands, preventing her from recording it. The officers had their guns drawn, and after the officer became so concerned, they were forced to identify themselves as a Brooklyn Park police officer." So now you have ICE agents going ahead and taking illegal actions against local law enforcement officers. And the American people know ICE is out of control because multiple polls now show that ICE is underwater. Their approval and disapproval ratings have flipped since the beginning of this year. And so we ask ICE and the Department of Homeland Security, you need to follow the law. And if you don't want your officers to be at more risk, they need to follow the law.